I'll probably be talking about things I've already talked about in the past. It's just regurgitating the same shit, but it's something I really want to talk about. I said things what I needed to say yesterday about Hollywood and video games, why they keep making the same product over and over again. And people keep buying it. Because they're brainwashed. And they have nothing else to do with themselves. And it's easy. It's easy to be a sports fan. It's easier to pay attention to that than it is to pay attention to politics. Politics is boring. Things I talk about is boring. It is. Finances is fucking highly boring. All this shit's boring. Sports. It's weird when I come into the break room and these guys are talking about sports and I have no clue what they're talking about, like what happened in the game or whatever. Because I used to be a big advocate for sports, and I've seen the watered downness of the sports, all of them. And why have they watered down? Why are they not as fun as they used to be? There's a couple of reasons. Okay, like football, they don't hit like they used to, or there's all these rules, and which is understandable because of the threat of the concussion. But if you play football, there's a big. It's like fighting, there's a chance that you end up like Muhammad Ali. You take too many hits to the head. That's the chance you take playing that sport. But it's so watered down. It's so watered down. You see players in the NBA not playing because they want to rest, which is really weird because the game is way less physical than it was back in the 90s and 80s and everything before that. But it's more about keeping their brand healthy. So what's gonna happen is people aren't going to, at some point these fans are gonna see that, why am I spending all this money to go to this game when first off, you get all this propaganda shoved down your throat. Second off, that has nothing to do with sports. You're trying to watch sports to get away from all that shit. People like to watch sports to get away from all that politics. The politics they like to watch is drama, or like in the game, not outside the game. People, it's kind of like a fun drama to them. It's more like a candy drama. Like it's more enticing than it is for like broccoli drama. You know what I'm talking about? It's more appealing. But you have these players making so much money. That's the problem. They make too much money. They don't want their player hurt, so they sit them out. Now, I've watched a couple Thanksgiving games, or if I go to families get together and the game might be on Sunday or something, I'll watch that. But I don't have cable. I don't watch any of the games. And I haven't supported the NFL since like 2017, and I used to watch it. I used to love it. I play fantasy football, man. I love that shit. But ever since they started doing the political bullshit, bringing in the atmosphere, I didn't like it. Anyway, they just make too much money. So then you pay all this money to go see your favorite superstar play, and they're not even playing. Why? Because they want to rest. So they're going to continue to make more and more money, and the fans are going to be like, dude, what the hell? Why are they... Well, they make all this money is because you continue to support these people. That's where you direct your money to. That's where you direct your attention. If people stop watching it, if people stop funding it, stop buying the jerseys, stop going to the games, what do you think would happen? They would have to. Well, first off, the league will probably go under. Like, maybe not the NFL, but the NBA, because these players they have guaranteed contracts. You know, when you got players making $50 million a year, and not playing, and people just stop going to the game, it ends up being like the WNBA. They're not going to be able to fund these contracts, so it'll go under. But the NFL, like, I think they have to pay some, like, the bonuses, and like some of the bonuses are guaranteed or whatever. But like, you hear these players making $50 million a year, or they can cut these players, and they're not all the same. So anyway, the whole point is you're paying an exorbitant amount of money to see these players play, and they're not playing. And in fact, which is understandable, to how, like, you want to protect your product or your brand. They're protecting their brand so much that they're watering down. I've seen a couple instances where I've seen on TikTok where, I think it was Tom Brady and some other quarterback, they got sacked. They just got tackled to the ground like a normal sack, and then they got hit with unnecessary roughness when they just basically... So they're going to get to the point where you can't even touch the quarterback, okay? Because they're just worth too much. And that's just going to make the game even more worthless to watch or care about. It's like NASCAR. People like to watch NASCAR because of the car accidents. You know, when you're driving a car, and most people like to slow down and see what's going on instead of continuously driving. People like to see accidents. People like to see collisions. That's what they like to see. They like to see the big knockouts and fighting. So when you take that stuff away because you want to protect your brand, which is understandable, you're investing all this money into this brand, you're making the game not very appealing to watch or care about. That's what's happening. And you're going to see at some point, you're going to start seeing people you're going to see audience dissipate. And I think that, you know, combat sports would be better off in the digital world anyway. Because you can't protect the brain. Like, they can make all the helmets the most padded helmet that you can. You're still not going to stop the whiplash effect. I think that the best thing you can do to stop the whiplash effect is to work on your neck muscle so you have control of your head. The whole point is the whole problem with like, you protect the skull, right? You can protect the skull when it comes to helmets, but you can't protect that brain, because that brain is it's like sitting in a vat of whatever that is up there, blood, I don't know. And then you got the skull. You get the skull, the vat of blood, and then you got the brain in there. So the brain can move in there, you know. The brain's not just gonna sit there and be protected. The brain can move in there. So if you don't have good control of your head, you know, you get a whiplash, go forward real quick, boom, your brain's gonna go fucking forward and it's gonna smash against your skull, and that's what causes a concussion. You can make whatever helmet you want, but it's not gonna stop that process from happening. Concussions are bruising of the brain. And I'm not no damn brain surgeon, but it's pretty obvious to me that different neurons get damaged, or vessels in your brain get damaged the more hits you take to the head. And the best way to stop that, in my opinion, is just make it go digital. It's more fun anyway. You can do more things that you can't do in real life. I mean, if you're playing anyway, like, you can beat the hell out of somebody. You know, I'm playing WWE or UFC, and you can just beat the hell out of them, and you don't have to worry about actually hurting another human being. It's just a digital form. So I think that you'll see sports at some point when maybe not. Maybe people keep buying the crap. I mean, they keep buying movies and buying the same thing over and over again. They keep buying like sequels from 500 years ago, I guess. And putting characters. Is Harrison Ford in the new Indiana Jones? I don't know. I guess there's all these sequels coming out this year, coming up. Of movies that were really huge back in the day. I'm wondering if they're gonna flop. I don't know. I don't think that people will have the money to go see them. Go to the movie theaters. Like, movie theaters used to be fun, man. They really did. They used to be pretty cool. I mean, I personally would rather watch a movie at home. Not by myself. I'd rather have, if I had a partner, I'd rather watch it with her. But going to the movies is kind of it's a pain in the ass. You have to worry about, well, you can't bring in your own stuff, so you have to pay all these exorbitant amounts of money for popcorn or whatever you want to enjoy the movie with. And then you have to worry about people around you. I remember I took my kids to see one of these superhero movies, maybe 5 years ago. I think it's like Avengers, like one of the big ones, Civil War or some shit, I forgot. And we were really excited to watch it. Someone brought the little kid, and they just kept crying and ruined the whole experience, man. And it's cool to have like the surround sound around you, big screen. But when you got people around you disturbing you, whether they got their phone on or whatever, and then you have to get up and take a piss and go, it's just a big hassle to go to the movies. It's a cool experience, but it's just like, just not worth it. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how good these films are gonna do in their movies. It's so funny. God. Oh man. Okay. So I'm sorry. I can't talk. I can't say it. I can't talk about it. It's my coworkers. It's so funny what I just seen. Anyway, so like this whole climate change thing, like, I would take it serious, but I can't take it serious because the people who are saying that it's really bad aren't taking it serious. That's why I don't take it serious. Like, if these rich people, and I've said this before, if these rich people who keep on proclaiming climate change is so horrible, and like AOC is like, oh, we're going to die in 10 years, and when you don't bring no proof out, and you're living a huge consumeristic lifestyle, it doesn't make any sense to me. It makes literally no fucking sense. I don't believe anything you fucking say. You know, if it was somebody like Elon Musk, okay, and when Elon Musk is saying at this point, he said this, I heard it on an interview. He said we need actually more oil right now, and we need to wean ourselves off of it in the future because we need our technology isn't there for renewables right now. I mean, it's correct. We need a ton of oil right now. Dude, I hate waste. I hate waste, man. I hate how things are made cheaply and they're made to break soon, so you have to buy a replacement. I hate that shit. I hate wasted food. Like, I am one of the biggest advocates. Like, you could ask any of my kids or whatever. I fucking hate food going to waste. My kid was making pigs in a blanket last night, right? And he started, like, getting upset with himself because he dropped 2 on the ground. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't mean to him or nothing like that. He beat himself up, but like, I don't like waste, and that's gone on my kids because we've lived in a scarcity mindset. We've had to, because that's the cards that have been given us. And you know, I can't relate with people who are actually like starving to death, you know, in other parts of the world or whatever, but I can relate to not being able, like, the average American just wastes so much fucking food. It's unbelievable. And that takes people's time to create that food. That takes infrastructure, and then it takes energy to create that food, to ship that food, and a lot of people, my experiences with women, they like to waste. They don't like leftovers. I love leftovers, man. I love it. I don't have to make the food. Leftovers are so fucking awesome to me. I make something, and then guess what? All I gotta do is fucking, and I understand, okay, microwaves are bad. I understand that. But, dude, all I have to do is reheat that, and it's so much better than having to cook. I fucking hate cooking. It's such a pain in the ass. I gotta do all the dishes and all that shit. But I love leftovers, man. It's so cool. It's so cool. But you don't see these rich people who are saying that we're gonna have climate disaster, which I don't say that we don't have climate change. I was, in my day in the 90s, there was a hole in the ozone layer, and they were worried about that hole getting bigger and bigger and bigger and making hotter and hotter and hotter. And they've been saying this for like decades now. We're gonna die. And I want the world to be as healthy as possible. You know, when I lived in Washington State, and I seen like the homeless people all living outside, and I've seen it homeless. When I was growing up, I didn't see hardly any homeless people. Okay, but it's just blowing up, and it's acceptable to government institutions to have homeless people, like in California, living on the sidewalk in front of businesses. That's got to be a horrible fucking experience for the business owner. I wouldn't want to go to that business at all. But it's bad. It's bad that, you know, landfills are filling up. It's bad that we have. I don't want climate change. What the hell are you doing over here? You got the rose petals ready for me? They give me shit because like I park on the side of the building where the office workers would normally work. So like like I'm royalty, you know what I mean? And like, you know, they throw rose petals for me or whatever. Anyway, oh, it looks like a full moon. Close to it anyway. So, you don't have the, like, if Elon wants to be like, okay, we need right now, we only got like 5 years, but he's actually living kind of minimalistically. I mean, as far as, I don't think he said he sold all of his possessions, and he's not living in a freaking huge mansions. He's not using up all these resources, and these people who are rich are living in these huge, enormous mansions that take a lot of resources to either maintain or to energize. Whether it's like heat or air, it takes a lot of energy to maintain these, and these people continue to live in these huge palaces, and then they live on the coast. You know, if they're so worried about the water coming up, I've been around. They've been talking about this for the last 20 years. The water levels, I don't think, have gone up like they said. So this is why I'm skeptical of these people, and I think that they have a different agenda, and that's why I just don't. You know, when they come out with the 2021 propaganda bullshit, which you can't talk about on here. I'm not sure about the rules. I said fuck you. I just don't believe you motherfuckers, man. I'm not brainwashed enough to sit here and blame and go along with the fucking agenda and ignore all these fucking red flags, man. The government and these people are like a girl you're about to date, or a guy you're about to date, and you see these huge red fucking flags and you just ignore them. I'm just not gonna ignore them. I just don't believe these motherfuckers. So I gotta get in this bitch and continue this rat race. I'll probably be doing this type of shit for the rest of my fucking life, which is fine. And one thing I want to say is, I uploaded a video yesterday, and usually I'm like looking at all the statistics, like who's liking it, and not who's liking it, but how many likes I get, how many views I got, and I didn't look at it yet. I'm trying to get rid of that type of mindset, like continuously giving a fuck about how many views and shit, because it doesn't really fucking matter. I'm trying to control that dopamine thing in my brain.